Intelligence. Demystified. I'm Michael Mills, a member of the Carter 9 Program Committee. The mission of our chamber is to be a dynamic regional business organization striving to promote growth, prosperity, and quality of life for our members in the communities. The purpose of these workshops is for chamber members to help with their professional and business development. Each workshop is designed to be interactive and presented by a chamber member who are experts in their field. I would ask you to please turn your video on. This not only helps the presenter kind of gauge the reaction of his audience, but it's also, this is a networking event. And also I would ask you to put your contact information in the chat box so that other people can reach out to you. These workshops are sponsored by Berkshire Bank, and we're very grateful for that. Berkshire Bank is a Worcester bank and sponsor for our workshops. They are a 176-year-old community bank with financial centers across New England and New York. Berkshire Bank is here to help you and be a partner, whether it is to save money, buy a home, or help with your business needs. We're here to provide sound financial counsel and match the right decision for you. Through their multi-billion-dollar business community comeback program, Berkshire Bank is helping power the economic potential by fueling small businesses like yours. Because of our sponsor, Berkshire Bank, Carter 9 495 Regional Chamber of Commerce is we can present these workshops to you, to members of our chamber at no charge. Today, we have, as you know, Kam Intereth. He is the CEO and founder of Compound Effect. Kam has always been a beacon of innovation and forward thinking. His passion for marketing and sales growth is evident in every strategy he crafts. Having embraced the life of a monk on 3 occasions, Kam brings a unique blend of business acumen and profound wisdom to the table. His expertise in AI isn't just about algorithms, it's about shaping the future. Kam's philosophy, it takes a village, and sometimes insights from a monk's reflective solitude. At Compound Effect, it's not just about business, it's about transformative, energetic collaboration. Kam and his team are experts and deeply committed to helping businesses unlock the secrets of employee retention, recruitment, and delivering unparalleled customer experiences. Think of them as the special ops in the business world, diagnosing challenges and deploying dynamic strategies with a touch of AI brilliance. From being a proud father of 4 to sharing insights on numerous platforms, Kam's journey is a testament to innovation, intuition, and a touch of Zen. With that, I will turn it over to you, Kam.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today. This is going to fly by. As effective and efficient AI is, this meeting is going to be the same way. We may not get through a lot of things because I want to make this very collaborative. And my experience doing these live workshops and webinars is there's a lot of engagement. And oftentimes we don't get through every single thing. But I will make sure I'm available to you. I'll share you my link and we can set some time so I can provide some one-on-one, at least for 30 minutes, if you guys had any particular questions. Because I want you to leave here today utilizing tools and strategies and tactics guaranteed to save you guys a few hours a week, if at least 2 hours a week. So if this was the summertime, I say you take those 2 hours to go to the beach, but you can find other things to do with those extra times. All right, so my name is Kam, like .com. I see some familiar faces here, so nice to see some folks, and I see some new people here as well. If you can, in the chat, just put when you do put your name, what industry you're in, that'll be helpful, because I want to try to provide some use cases and scenarios, and in your role. So your industry and your role, and what you want to, basically why you're here today. Like what's the takeaway you're looking for from this webinar? And I'll try to do my best to address every single person's, outcome they're looking for. But if I can't, I will definitely circle back on that. All right. I am going to share my screen here, and we'll get rock and rolling. I'll play a few seconds of this video. I think it's a funny way to set the tone for productivity.
I'm sorry, we don't see the video anymore.
Yeah, I just turned it off because I think the audio wasn't on. Was the audio on?
No.
Or was it? Yeah, I realized sometimes when you hit share screen, you have to hit share sound. So my apologies. Let me do that over. I'm going to share sound. Okay. Try this again.
There were people who are skilled at their job, and there were people who can also end up with the same result but in a much faster way. So today, we're going to show you fast workers who do their job perfectly, and it's the most satisfying thing you will ever see. Watch how this guy slices watermelon into perfect pieces in an extremely satisfying way. Here's a man who sure knows how to use his fingers. I bet the ladies love him. To be the fastest worker, you also have to be creative, like this woman who came up with the fastest way to cover bicycle wheels in plastic. At first glance, you may think this Korean chef is only cutting with immense speed, but you'll be shocked when you see the amazing result in the end. There were people who were skilled at their job, and there were people who can also end up with.
Okay. I think we all wish we can probably be superhuman in certain things that we do in our tasks, if it's personal or business like, but just wanted to kind of share that with you to kind of set the tone. We're gonna make you guys superhuman in your own right using some AI. Okay. So today's agenda, I'm gonna introduce myself a little bit more for folks who may or may not know me. And then really we're gonna talk through the journey where AI is today. Find out some real use cases of the applications of AI today, go over some myths and reality of what it is. Then we're going to look at ways to harness it for growth within the business setting, but then also for like your personal productivity. I think there's, you really get two different values here when you really understand how this tool works. And then we're going to learn together. I think, well, we may have some breakout sessions depending on some time, but either way, it's a smaller group here. We don't have to really get into a breakout session. And we'll just wrap up and answer any questions you may have and get some feedback from your, gut reactions from today's session. Okay. So I'm going to get a little bit of, want to give you guys some more background about who I am and myself here. So this is my family. We actually just went to Disney in October, so it came back. So I got my son here, who is 8, my daughter in the middle, Addison, who's 10, Charlotte right there is 7, and Vivian is 2, and my wife Melissa. And we live in Westboro. So been a longtime member of Corridor 9 and love Central Mass. Mentioned I was among 3 times, and a very interesting experience, and I kind of, that shapes kind of my view in technology and kind of humanize things. But really it's about the whole harmony and balance of everything. So I've been doing this type of business consulting, marketing, sales, branding, customer experience, digital transformation for about 2 decades, and started a few different companies from, 360s, SEO companies, full service digital marketing agency. I now have a business consulting company. And over the years, what I've noticed, especially during the pandemic, was there were different people you had to bring in at different times of your business or at multiple times, right? If it's an HR person, sales, marketing, operations, finance, and it really takes this like holistic view of your business to grow it, because it's the sensitive ecosystem, how one kind of interacts with the other one. And that's really the genesis of compound effect. And I want you guys to think about that when you're thinking about AI, like it's a tool, and how does it affect my business or myself in multiple ways? Because if you think about the invention of electricity, when it first came out, think about all the different use cases. How do we use electricity and all the different ways it's impacted our lives and business? AI is the same thing. You might find one use case, but if you really understand the power and opportunity that it provides, it can uncover other things to problem solve that you never thought could on a personal business side. So I'm going to go around and ask a few people kind of like really what fascinates you about AI, and please share your impressions. So let's start with Tom Greeley.
Good morning. Thank you very much for putting on this presentation. I'm 64 years old, and everything seems to be moving faster and faster around me. And I don't understand AI. I'm almost worried about the things you can do to hurt people. And so I'm just trying to get a handle on it. And I don't even know what to ask. So that's why I'm here, because you're the expert, and I appreciate your knowledge.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Sheldon.
Hey, I've been within a number of groups, and I've talked about AI and posting, and I've kind of been on the fringe of it and not really getting into it. And so I want to just, find out a little bit more about it and where I can use it, should I use it? But I have to be aware of it. It's here, it's coming, and it's here, and it's gonna get deeper and deeper.
Yep. Okay. Carrie?
So I'd probably echo the same things that Tom and Sheldon just said. Just wanting to learn more about it, wanting to have a good understanding, because it is becoming more and more an integral part of our lives. So it's good to know these things, but also how to harness it, how to utilize it, how best to utilize it, and more. I don't even know.
Okay. All right. Allison?
Good morning. I've been playing around with AI, but I am just an amateur, and I'm really interested to hear about best uses, the way that Carrie said. What are some applications that I hadn't thought of that could be, more efficient in day-to-day office writing work? So that's what I'm after.
We'll probably have to chat offline, Allison, and catch up anyways. I kind of show you some really cool applications for content creation and ideation as well. And I'm planning to do other series around that too. But if this, again, I'm happy to do some one-on-one with you guys. And that's the benefit, I think, for those that took the time to join today. I can provide you guys some more one-on-one time after this.
Great, thank you.
All right. Yep. Let's see, Mandy.
Hi, so I'm definitely interested because I work at a college. So there's definitely the younger generation of students who are, learning how to use AI, and in terms of like assignments and things like that, I feel like it's good to know kind of what they might be using, and kind of be cautious of that. But I also am just kind of interested in it for myself too.
Okay, great. Let's see here. Dave?
Sorry about that. I can't keep you on. Have to mute you once in a while. The golf industry's been talking about this for a lot. Every conference I've gone to, we've got some pretty impressive speakers about AI, and we're trying to figure out how it might help us in our business, because it can kind of help coalesce some ideas together if you ask the right questions and help. But of course, we want to make sure we don't take it too far, right? I mean, I could probably type in a chat GPT, come up with a marketing plan for our golf school, and I would probably get a full-blown one, but does it really going to take in all the factors? So we're trying to figure out where it's going to go. A lot of people in this industry are talking about how it can help with instruction and with other aspects. So it seems very powerful, but kind of afraid to use it till I get a better handle on how it could really be leveraged properly, right? And of course, there's always those naysayers that expect us to turn into, Terminator 2 and take over the world, and but so how do you use it appropriately without losing sight of what you're trying to accomplish as a business, customer to customer?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up golf, because I was just talking about this with one of my buddies. I got some golf balls here on my wall here with one hole in one ball in the middle.
Awesome.
So one of the features of ChatGPT 4, the Pro version, I'm going to go through the difference between the free and the Pro version, is it can take pictures and it can hear, see, and speak. So you can actually show someone doing a swing and it will give you an analysis. Could replace an instructor? I think it would be an assistant to an instructor, but it will do things really neat like that from an analytical standpoint. And then you can feed it other swing analysis and it takes that. And then when you show it one, it learns from it. So and that could be applied in 10 minutes. That's how quickly it learns. So we're going to dive into that today. One more person, anyone jump on in. I'm going to have one. I know I can't get to everyone, but one more person, if you guys want to share kind of like what fascinates you and what you're looking to learn. Andy? Oh, you're on mute.
I'm in a little different industry. I'm a photographer, and so I'm seeing AI creep into image processing to keep it as a simple explanation. But also, I think everybody's aware of the question of image generation and what's real, what's not real. And you get into all kinds of interesting things around copyright protection, etc. So I'm a user. I've used ChatGPT as well, but just for fun. But the AI components of image processing is very real, very here and now, and getting better pretty much every month.
Yeah, one of my best friends is in Brooklyn. He's a product photographer, so he's doing beds for like Wayfair and things like that. So I actually showed him how to take a product he took, apply to different backgrounds. So instead of actually him going on a real site, setting up the whole site, we applied different backgrounds and hit and overlaid his product in different lifestyles in seconds. So that's happening right now in the photography world. And there's a couple influencers in that world that are teaching people how to leverage that. So you're working much faster. Of course, I'm not saying that it needs to remove the essence of creativity, and it still needs a human touch. But if there's ways that you think it could apply to that application for you, Andy, and anyone here, that's where you want to figure out where is that balance, right? If it could do 80-90% of the work and then you do the other 10-20, then that's the win. All right, we're going to jump into this here. Okay. All right. Okay. So when we look at the history, I think it's always great to go back and learn more about the history first before we jump into it to give context. AI has been around for a while. Like Alan Turing was one of the first ones to really dive into this. And if you watch The Imitation Game, which was an amazing movie, his whole theory was in there when they cracked the code there, the Enigma. So you see from the 1950s, that's when the birth of this began. And then it just started expanding, right? Neural networks in the 80s, machine learning in the 2000s. You see it in tech in the 2010s. And now there's this big revolution that we're seeing today, ChatGPT. So it's been around, and now it's finally caught up. So here's some just trends and insights to think and consider. So when you're looking at to increase adaptation, business function, 50% of businesses have integrated this already into the business. And this is back in 2020. So it's a little bit older data from McKinsey. I think today we're probably seeing like 60, 70, but there's still a big market that's still untapped. My best advice is, and this is a proper slogan or phrase from a professor at Stanford, was if you are insert your position. If you're a teacher using AI, you will replace other teachers that are not. If you're a salesperson using AI, you will replace a salesperson that is not. So think about that. And I really want that to sit in for you, because this is a tool. And you see businesses that are hiring for this position where they're saying, you're a prompt engineer, but really eventually everyone's going to learn this skill. It's a skill to learn how to use this tool. It's really going to be almost like how you Google, right? When Google first came out, people didn't know what to do. Professors were actually penalizing students using Google, but now it's pretty mainstream. AI is going to be the same way over the next couple of years. So when you look at marketing growth, the market growth, 190 billion in 2 more years. Crazy. Efficiency and improvement via AI, 40% increase in process time reduction, and that's by IBM. And IBM has their own called Watson, that's their AI. And then time saving for executives, 20%. That's conservative. I've coached a few friends of mine who are also executives and also clients of mine, and saving 10 hours a week. Imagine what you can do 10 hours a week. I had one other person said that you just saved me 2 weeks of work that I needed to get done. So that's a lot of beach time. And then when you think about sales and marketing, there's a study from Salesforce that says 10% increase. Again, I think that's, if you're an enterprise, that number is pretty big, but if you're a smaller business, you'll probably see that number go to 20 to 30%. So it's kind of, think of it in relation to size of your industry or your company. And from a customer service standpoint, yeah, you're definitely going to increase better customer engagement, about 30%, if not more. This data point, about 85% of customer service interactions are going to be held by chatbots in 2025, which is 2 years away. That was interesting to hear, but it makes a lot of sense. When a business can have answers done for you very well in a natural language, having a conversation with a chat bot, because at the end of the day, I think people have this bias towards chatbots, so they're not good. And they're not good because they're not AI driven. But now you layer in AI, these chatbots are very, 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 very good. So that saves time. Now there's less customer service that needs to be done. If you're doing client success, you're answering questions, you can leverage a chatbot for your own business to answer a lot of questions for you and even guide them along the website to provide different resources. So there is a lot of use cases here around to leverage AI. So today, what you're probably seeing is things like Alexa, right? You're seeing AI already in a lot of the products that we're using. We're seeing a huge growth in healthcare, finance, marketing, customer service because of the opportunities with AI. And then things like voice assistants, smart homes, that's been around, but they're just getting better and smarter. So if you're in a business that has a lot of data, automation opportunities, and predictive modeling, this is something that you really have to get your arms around with, because it's going to be transformational for you. So now we're thinking about the myths and reality. I'm going to get your feedback here. We're going to go one at a time, and I want to kind of see what you guys think here, and it just maybe give some more context around each of these myths and reality. So will AI replace all jobs? Well, it will augment, it will improve, it will create new jobs, but it's not going to completely replace your job. Well, I correct myself. I guess it depends on the role, like customer service, right? So if you're in the customer service business, seeing that it will be chatbot focused, yeah, that might replace your job. Just kind of like the tow booths, right? Now everything's all digital and with sensors. So, but it won't replace all jobs. I think what we're going to see is a shift in jobs or an enhancement. Anyone have questions or feedback about number one here? We'll give context, concerns. Okay. Well, will it replace humans? At this stage, it needs human interaction. It's software. It needs humans to QA it. It needs humans to keep providing information. So it's not going to replace humans. There is talk where it's called AGI, artificial generative intelligence, that's where it will meet the intelligence of humans. Have you guys been following the drama with OpenAI with CEO who, I don't know if anyone here followed it? Raise of hands. Who knows of it, what happened? So I mean, the truth is not out yet. I follow it pretty closely. What I'm hearing, I'm in a few different AI communities, so I follow and I ask some of these influencers and experts. What's coming to light is that he was either uncovered, potentially the AGI, which is really that human and close to human intelligence, a glimpse of it. It's not there yet, but when he sees something like that, he's supposed to disclose that to the board. And I think he did not disclose that to the board because he wants to just keep rolling forward with all of this technology without some safeguards. So those are things that the board felt was breaching of his responsibilities, and they were looking to kick him out. But I think with Microsoft, with such a big investment into OpenAI, had to like figure out how to save their investment and kind of rebuild the brand. They brought in new board members who will now ensure that OpenAI is more safer, et cetera, et cetera. But that's just a summary of like what's happening behind the scenes. But it's important to know what's going on in the world, because if Google was falling apart, we need to understand why that's happening, right? Because this affects our lives and the future of technology. A lot of businesses are investing into the technology of ChatGPT, and it powers a lot of other software behind the scenes. So, but yeah, you still need a lot of human interaction. And it's not for number 3. It's not for techies or folks who it can be for anyone. Like my daughter, 5th grade, was using it. She's using it to, I programmed it to help her with math tutoring. So it's actually being a personal tutor for her, and she's having conversations with it. It sounds so natural and real. And then she had a mock trial that she had a plan for. We told the AI, here's the mock trial. She's going to be arguing this argument, and it role played with her. So as easy as a kid can use it. And a lot of people think it's magic and it's genius, but it's all programs. It's only as good as the information that's fed to it. But sometimes it can be really scary because it sounds like, oh my goodness, you almost sound like a human, but it's just really well done coding and data. I'll pause there before I do the last one. Feedback, gut reactions, questions on the first 4. Jump in, anyone.
I just put a question in the chat, but just feedback in terms of some, ultimately it'd be great to hear some use cases. And I can understand it when I see how it's applied.
Yeah, we're going to jump into that actually further, Allison. So when we get to business use cases, for sure.
The other question, the data that it draws on, ChatGPT now works up to January 2022 for what they access, or is ChatGPT now searching the current internet to come up with their material?
Yep, good question. So the 3.5 has information that's like about 2021. The new one, the Pro, the $20 one, the ChatGPT 4, is real time. There is unfortunately a wait list for the Pro that just happened, I think, to find out like a week or 2 ago. So I've been telling a lot of people do the upgrade, but today I'll show you behind the scenes because I have the Pro, and I can show you how to use the 3.5 as well. So we're gonna do some hands-on stuff soon here. Okay, so the last one, will it take over the world in the future? So my daughter, whenever I let her know I'm doing a workshop or something like that, she's really interested in AI. She likes it a lot, which is kind of neat. But she's also very scared of it too. So even as a 10-year-old, she's kind of like, it's gonna take over the world, Dad. That's not gonna happen. So far, all the experts have not sounded the alarms. There's a lot of smart people around this. If they were fearful, I think there would definitely be conversations around right now. The government recently is has an executive order to create safeguards around this about 2 months ago. So we're going to see a lot of regulations moving forward. The Europe is already rolling out their regulations in advance. So I think you're seeing the world react to this, which is great. So there's another company called Anthropic, who one of the scientists who started OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, left because they wanted more safe uses of AI and started this other company, Anthropic. So they are a main competitor to ChatGPT. So it's good to see folks out there who are looking to protect humanity and do AI the right way. So I would sign up as well for Anthropic, which is Claude 2 is their program. I'll send you guys the link and I'll give you all this information after this call too. I'll have all hyperlinks for you guys. They also have a wait list, so just get on it. You don't know when it's going to open up, but those are really two programs that you want to be testing out. Okay, so thinking about, what can you believe and what can't you believe? It's, when you're reading articles on Google search, especially now with politics coming in, and I'm not going to get that discussion, you have to do your due diligence to validate what you're reading is real. There's so much information getting indexed on Google search that's actually AI generated. There are images that are AI generated. So you actually really can't trust what you read, what you see, what you hear, what you watch. That is a reality. There's deep fakes. All this stuff is happening today. And I tell that to my kids because they are online. We have safeguards and parameters for kids doing search, but I still tell my daughter, who's really the only one that's doing it, said you have to be careful what you're reading, and just ask us if you have questions so we can help you find the right information. So it's unfortunate because when you think about marketing strategy and SEO and kind of rank your content you're putting out there, you're competing with AI as well. So you really have to do due diligence around what you're reading, what you're seeing. So here are some use cases. We can start having some conversations back and forth about this here. Common things that I see for people to use AI for is personalizing the customer experience throughout the journey. So as you think about having emails sent out to a customer, and what they like, their interests, those types of things can be automated. The conversations and emails can really feel personalized. That's where you're creating that great experience. And that's using software. Supply chain management, you saw in earlier the slide about productivity, can easily increase productivity, can forecast errors ahead of time, and make improvements, readjust logistics. So there's a lot of things it can start to predict based on understanding your workflows. So when you're looking at marketing and sales, for example, I had a client who wanted to do an email sequence. So they were just doing 4 emails. I said, actually, you should be doing 14. But then how do you know what to say in the emails? What's the right subject line? What's the content in the middle from a psychology standpoint, persuasive copy, and then how to space it out? All was built out through AI, and then we plugged it into HubSpot was one of the platforms, and then it could track the interactions, and then it knows enough based on the interactions to send the next interaction, all automated, all workflows built automatically, no guessing there. When it comes to marketing, that's creating images, that's doing understanding your brand, your messaging, video content, all that stuff can be produced. So for example, a podcast, you can do a podcast, shoot it in an hour, but then you have to do the post-production, or even sorry, let me take a step back. What should I do my podcast about? What's my content strategy? What does my consumers care about? So doing some research around the topic of your podcast, and then it gives you suggestions of your podcast. It will give you the transcript of your podcast, even the show notes. Then you record it for an hour, take that recording, upload it to an AI editor. It will then take that recording, break it up into 10 or 15 clips for you, give you the social media clips, give you the transcripts, give you all the notes. And that happens in 5-10 minutes, the post-production. That typically would take 2 weeks. Normally, you would need a video editor, a content person, a social person, a project manager typically. That can all get removed and be managed by one person. So that's a use case there. For example, Allison, that you're asking for. When you're looking at recommendations, we see this now in Netflix, right? Even products, it starts to understand what you're looking for, and then it makes recommendations for you. That can happen in your own business. If you guys are providing courses, if you're providing any type of service or product on your website, so say someone's just asking a question on the chatbot, I'm looking for this. It can then make recommendations. Well, would you consider this, or these services based on your needs? And it can have a conversation. That's pre-sale. Post-sale, you can have it follow up, have a comment. How is this product going for you? Are you getting the results that you're looking for? What are the challenges you're facing? Based on that context, it can then make recommendations on either improving the current product, pinging a client success person. Oh yeah, Zoom does this sometimes. You do thumbs up. I don't know if you have seen that. It also does confetti. I can't figure out when it turns on to do that. It could ping like your customer success manager, maybe the account manager, saying like, "Hey, looks like the client is unhappy or unsure about their service so far." So there's a lot of ways to, again, automate these things to create that great customer experience that you're trying to achieve for your clients. I love this last bullet here, which is the research and analysis. It culls down a lot of the research for you. So I've asked it to summarize marketing data, consumer behavior data, like ingest it all. Things that would take me a couple weeks, I can get done in 1 or 2 days because it brings it in and then it distills and summarizes it for me. Then I ask it, I'm interacting with it and I say, well, can you pull the 5 most important things based on the priorities of my target audience? No, so yeah, it's like speaking to a data scientist. So and then I say, okay, now create a presentation around this, or create a report around this. So it's really being my assistant throughout this whole process on the research analysis side. All right. Here are a few use cases here. What questions do you guys have? What are some ideas you're thinking about as you're hearing these potential use cases that might be relevant for your business? Right, I'm gonna pick on someone. Deb. Oh, actually, Deb, you beat me to it. Awesome. I saw you on mute. Thank you.
I would say a couple of things. One is I do a lot of design for training and also for coaching. And so I attended an AI session on that, and seeing what you can do in the research part and the design of programs and how much time you could save and the breadth. It's like having an extra team when you look at it to be able to do that. So I could really see it. And when I was interviewing for a coaching gig, the person actually asked me, how am I using AI in coaching? So the questions are already out there. And so I could really see the use of it.
Oh, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, it does image generation. So on the pro version of ChatGPT 4, you can say, hey, I'm building this coaching, let's say it's a course or product, right? And then you say, I need to do a presentation around this. Can you provide me images to put in my slides? And it will. I like what you said earlier, the team. Like that is what it feels like. That's what it's like. You have this team behind you that can strategize, can validate content that you're doing, can create content for you, create images for you as well. So, I mean, that's really powerful. All right, let's see. Karen. Oh, I see a hand come up. Sarah. Yes, Sarah.
So I have a question specifically with ChatGPT. How often do you need to prompt it and give it information? So, for example, if you have a chat, can you just continue on that thread? Say I give it prompts to start, like act as a marketing expert, and you give it your ideal customer and they're, if I come back to that chat on the left-hand side 2 weeks later, do I have to re-enter all of those prompts, or is it picking up where we left off?
Great question. Can you guys see my screen? Right. All right. So
Yes.
we're gonna
Yep.
we're gonna get into this. We have 15 more minutes. Crazy, it flies by. So, is this a hard stop, Carlene, or like if people want to go over for 5-10 minutes? Okay, great. So when you have a chat thread like
Mhm.
here, it will remember it. So think of it like an intern. So this is software. This is not like software, like or computer where it remembers everything and it's like 1 + 1 = 2 every time. It will sometimes say it's 3. So that's why it takes a person, a human, to QA the work. It's going to do a lot of the work for you. So ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free one that's available to you guys right now, versus 4, my analogy to it is it's like having a elementary level intern, still really smart, but elementary level intern versus a PhD. That's how huge the gap is from the paid version to the free version. The pro version can see things. If you share it an image, you take a picture of something, you can say, hey, I like this. What do you think it is? Or like, how can I apply this to my, like, let's say you went to a conference and you saw a booth, you take a picture of the booth. Like, I really like this booth. This is why I like it. I am an insurance provider. What type of booth can I do similar to this? And it would actually design a booth for you. So like it can see things, it can hear, so you can speak to it. I was doing it today on the ride after I dropped off my daughter to daycare. I opened up and I was just asking it some questions because I was ideating a program I'm building, and we're just having conversations. So it's seeing here and it's speaking to me. So like these are things, and it remembers over time, like an intern or even a person that your coworker, you have to remind them sometimes. Hey, do you remember that conversation we had? So then it brings it back. It will reiterate the conversation, and that's how you know. This is a tip that I highly recommend you guys do, is always double check with it. Say, hey, can you please repeat that? Or can you double check, you know, double check the work. I'll say that just to make sure it goes back. Because sometimes it'll give me like 10 things. And then after we work through it, it'll give me 7. I was like, oh, I think you're missing some things. Can you double check it? And it'll apologize. Oh, sorry, here it is. Here's the other 3. And I'll do all 10. But I always double check it because just like an intern, I'm like, can you walk me through that process, your thought process there before you begin this project? So that's what it's doing. It does remember all that stuff. It's just that you just have to check in with it, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah. So you can see here on the left side, if you have the pro version, if the free version, you'll see these are threads. Think of it like your text messaging. You're gonna see threads here, and you can title it. I title some of these, and then you have I on the paid version, you have access. You can still do DALL-E 3. DALL-E 3 is the image generator. The pro version gives you better imagery. If you go to explore, these are bots that you can make. Like some people call it AI agents. You can have like a travel agent, for example, or you can even have a life coach. You can ask it to be your life coach and it will do something like that. So I built the sales AI bot for one of my clients, and this could be used for anyone. I can share a link and they can actually, so I trained it on the best sales processes, sales copy, email sequences, all that stuff. So it knows that now. And then when someone asks a sales question, it can provide good advice within the framework that I taught it to do. Other use cases people use here is you can play games with it. This is one called the negotiator. This is actually what I had my daughter use when she was doing her mock trial. It was training her how to negotiate or argue a point. It can be your creative writing coach and to double check. So this might be great for you, Allison. Let's see. This one's kind of neat as well, the sous chef. So you can take a picture of your fridge or items on your counter, or even just tell it what you have, and it will give you recipe advice based on that. And this is what my daughter was using here to help her with math right now. She's doing like long form division and multiplication. It's like teaching her. So these are like preset in the marketplace. This is the paid version, but then you can make your own here. You create your own GPT. Now on the regular, let's go back to this one here, ChatGPT 4. And then for those that don't have it, it'll just drop down to 3.5. Does anyone here have the pro version? No. Okay. on the pro version, you have these plugins. So what the plugins do, please make sure you guys reserve your RSVP, because when it opens up, it's going to be a time saver for you. In these plugins, it can look at PDFs for you. It can create diagrams. It can create spreadsheets. So you can only pick 3 at a time. This one here will search YouTube videos, and it will tell me what that video is. So I don't have to watch the video. It will summarize it for me. Let's see. This is the plugin store. So if I was looking to build a workflow, and I use this one often, AI diagrams, it's an API connection to Whimsical. Whimsical is a very popular platform to build workflows. So I would say I'm doing a client onboarding process. This is my like when I onboard a client, here's what I'm looking to achieve. This is the experience I want them to have. So I'm just having conversations with ChatGPT. And then I say, now build me a visual workflow. Because I have this plugin installed, it will then build it out for me. So those are ways to leverage this thing to kind of do some operational things. All right, so let's play around. I'm going to start with one of these here. When you are prompting this, actually, let me just give you guys a little prompt 101. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. So this is what a perfect prompt looks like. It's a mix of what's the task you want it to do, what's the context of this ask, give examples, the persona, who you're targeting, the format that you're looking for, and the tone. So, you are, and you're telling it what it should be. You are an individual who has adopted a healthier lifestyle over the past year, resulting in better physical and mental well-being. Inspired by your journey, a few friends have asked you for advice on starting their own health journeys. Write a message to share in a group chat with interested friends. The message should outline the steps you took, share some challenges and how you overcome them, and offer to support them as they embark on their own journeys. Use a motivational, empathetic language. So that's an example. Another just simple thing to think about because sometimes I don't use all of it because it's long, and it's still pretty smart if you give it like half of the context of the prompting. So most important, if you were to order this, is clarify your goal. What's your ask, right? And then the context. So to tailor the responses, and then examples. So sometimes I will say, here's some examples I like, or I give it links. Here's some links of examples that I like. And I say, the persona is the AI bot. So for example, if I wanted to write content for me, like social media, I say, you are a social media expert for a legal, like for legal, right? So if you're a lawyer and you're trying to do social media, that's what you give the context. Here are some example social media posts that I like. This is why I like it. What I want you to do is to create 3 social media posts for me that have 4 bullets and have 2 takeaways for the person that's reading it. So say, oh, here it is, like bullets, markdowns. And then I want to be, the tone is professional but relatable, right? So you giving it context, and then it does it. This you guys will have this in a link. On the follow-up, there will be links to like how to properly prompt, things like that. So you guys will have all this stuff. So don't worry about taking all these notes. Just want to give you context. All right, now let's go to the prompting here. All right, who would like to? I want to do this. So who would like to volunteer, and I will prompt this for you. So someone jump in. Everyone's very scared of AI. I thought this is for you. Anyone?
I'll jump in.
Okay, Lara. All right. So Lara, what is your role, and what's something that you look into that you do often that you want that I can maybe help you automate?
Sure. So I have my own business doing marketing and consulting for other small businesses who are looking to build relationships with their customers. So one of the things that I want to do is create some social media posts around a consulting package that I'm offering.
Say that last part again. You're looking to provide
some social media posts around a consulting package that I'm offering called the Marketing Power Hour.
All right. So you're selling, is it like training for an hour
I'm
or?
selling like a strategy hour for entrepreneurs.
Okay, great. So you say, I'm going to say, you are a marketing consultant, you know, you help promoting a new product to help SMBs and entrepreneurs on, what was that? Just marketing or business?
Marketing strategy.
Okay. The product is 1 hour. Did you say one power is, what's the title?
Marketing power hour.
How can I promote this, right? So I always work out and then we're going to go in, Laura, because what happens is this gives it context.
Mhm.
So, and then what we're going to do is we actually tackle each one at a time. Okay, great. Let's now go a little deeper on number 1, number 2, like number 6, like what type of webinar should I do? We're not gonna do that all right now, but I'm going to show a few examples. But even for yourself, you might know this, but this is also validating for you what you're thinking, like how you're building this program to promote it. You know your target audience. I know that, right? Content marketing, what type of content are you doing? Social media marketing. So let's give me some suggestions of what platforms to use. Email marketing, partnerships and collaborations, like webinars, online workshops, SEO, paid advertising for exposure, right? Getting it out there. And then definitely getting customer testimonials and case studies. So use cases, networking, community engagement, and then offer a free trial demo. So like that is a full campaign plan, and that's actually pretty standard. It's I think marketing today has to consider all these things. So I'll say, okay, great. Can we go deeper to understand the needs and challenges of my target audience? Because and it takes like grammatical errors and stuff pretty well. So a lot of times I won't even go back and like it knows the context. I can get a little lazy on typing too. Okay. Oh, it's actually still thinking. So it's creating more around the plans here. That's why I didn't take my prompts.
Why is it suddenly giving you black boxes?
This is like if I know I haven't seen this happen too often. Sometimes it gets a little like it thinks it's a code. So I copy the code. I didn't ask for a code. So again, it's not perfect. And I see this is why like people either say, hey, ChatGPT is a little wonky. I just ask to reformat again. Say I don't need this in code. But that's why typically if you're asking for a code to like copy and paste into like a website, that's why it's in this format or like a spreadsheet. So now you know the challenges, you can now speak to this with your messaging. So when you go and promote it on social media, you can just tackle one of these at a time. But what's your gut just like seeing this play out here, Lara?
I mean, I'm a business of one, so it's some good brainstorming and extra feedback. And, it gets at, like you said, these are all messaging points here that then I could turn around and use. That's a lot faster than me sitting and thinking through the entire list by myself.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like, it's validating what I'm doing. 'Cause, you and I are in a very similar space. I do marketing as well. So, but it also uncovers some gaps I didn't think about. Like, oh, that's actually a good idea. You know, because I think some of those little nuances make a big difference when you're doing well. Um, if you win or lose in a program.
Mhm.
I know we're a little bit past our time here. I want to take some time just to take some questions, but you can see like the power of this. Like it's really just open ended. However, your imagination wherever it takes you, it can really help flush that out to hopefully a reality for you. Um, I know a lot of people have to jump off here, but what are some just like takeaways? You know, if you guys just go around, I'm gonna just call some names. Like, what are you thinking after hearing and kind of getting a little bit better understanding what the opportunity is with AI? So let's start with Nicole. If Nicole's not there, Karen.
Sorry, I have a cold.
Yeah.
I haven't used this before, but my team has, so I'm trying to get a little or it started. So we are an e-commerce company and we do a lot of marketing. And so we're kind of learning not only the words, but they're using it for some graphics. For instance, like a map of Massachusetts with a, or outline of Massachusetts with a heart on it or something to that effect. And
Mhm.
my team's starting to come up with things. And one of the interesting things is that it's not, the rights to it, that we can use it. Uh, so just kind of digging in on that, but this obviously is very quick and can get us information. I'm haven't my background is in operations and not as much in marketing, so being able to get this much information so quickly is really amazing, quite frankly.
I can say in this prompt, I can even say operationally build this out for me so I can fulfill, I can scale my fulfillment. So there's a lot of things you can ask it from an operational standpoint.
Yep.
Um,
And what about like a lean? If I asked for like a lean plan for something.
Yep. 100%. It totally would do it.
Oh,
Easy.
great.
Yep. Any questions, FAQ? I just want to kind of keep it more open-ended to answer any questions before I jump off. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, Alice.
Quick question about, I think this has come up several different ways, the legality of things. Obviously not cutting and pasting straight from AI, but if it's drawing on content that is copyrighted, is there a way to scan the results or, to check what you've created together with AI to make sure that you're not violating any copyright?
Yeah, I would always get like a plagiarism checker software.
Okay.
A lot of them are free out there, and just
What's
copy and paste it in there, and it'll tell you if there's anything coming up.
Right.
Oftentimes I don't see it running into issues with copyrights. It's using just like us, right? We go on Google and we read copyrighted stuff and we use it for inspiration. We use it for context. So every time it says something, it's actually unique because every word that it does is unique. You ask it again, it actually won't prompt the same exact answer sometimes. So it's that's why I like a lot of the tools that are trying to detect AI don't really work that well because of the sophistication of how it responds. They are getting better at it, but it's like 50-50.
And are there certain industries that have regulations around AI now? I'm just thinking financial services or attorneys.
Yeah, they do. But financial services are all in. What they're doing is a lot of times they have to digest tons of data and then do a summary report for their client. And that was be done by junior workers. They're using AI to do that now. So something that would take a few days, they can get in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah, like it's here. Medical is using it, legal is using it. Like it's just that you have to just whoever is consulting to build it, they just have to provide the right guardrails. And it's safe to use. But the safest way to use it is you build the server inside your company versus out shared on a third party. So that's how
Because-
you're seeing these businesses do, because they own everything from there. If it's enclosed.
And that protects the confidentiality of any information you might enter into a prompt.
Correct. And if you, oh yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. If you're prompting now on ChatGPT 4, they have securities and they say they do all these things, but they're not supposed to use the information, but just to be a safeguard, any proprietary information, remove it before you put it in there. Just a tip.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions from anyone?
Cam, I'll just maybe wrap up by saying, going back to your slide on the myths and the realities, I recall those myths were similar myths that were prevalent back in the 80s and 90s when they introduced PCs. People were saying, is it going to take my job? Is it going to take over the world? And we've incorporated the use of PCs and all the personal devices that we have today. Now it's the telephone. And I think this is the way AI is going now, but I found your presentation fascinating. And I could say too, I'm on the board of directors of a nonprofit, and we were talking about personnel policy, and I forget the subject, but let's say it was conflict of interest, and one of the directors is familiar with this, and she put it out to AI, and it came back with a beautiful policy, and one that we tempered a little bit, but then accepted. So it's there.
Yeah, it does a great job rewriting verbiage for legal. Of course, have a lawyer double check it, but it does a really, really great job. If I can just do a closing really quick, just a round robin, I always like to do takeaways. So if you just give me like your biggest takeaway from today, that'll be appreciative. Maybe start with Don. Or Don, Sarah.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is I just put my name on the list for the upgrade to 4 because I think there's some additional features that I'm interested in trying, especially from an image perspective.
Great. You can try Midjourney if you want to get to images now. You can access Midjourney. Okay. So I think that's $10 a month. The top 2 right now is really Midjourney and DALL-E 3. There's a whole bunch of other companies doing images that they're not that good. Like Meta has their own version. It's not that good yet. And that's Facebook, right? That's a big company. So the 2 big players are DALL-E 3, which is ChatGPT, and then Midjourney. Okay, yeah. Allison, what's your takeaway?
I thought the construction of a prompt and all the different features to include in it, because when I first tried ChatGPT, I thought it was like a 1-sentence thing, but the depth that you get into in the prompt was fascinating, and the structure that you shared, that was great.
Yeah, a lot of times people would just ask it a quick question and think people think it reads your mind. Like, no, you really have to give it context, and it gets smarter as you follow the thread. Sometimes you have to just take the time to put a really good prompt. It might have to take 2 paragraphs, but your output, you're going to benefit from a way better output. Okay. Carlene, what's your takeaway?
I need to use it a lot more. It will make my job a lot easier trying to do all the promotions, all of the constant contacts, and writing them and being exciting, and that'll help me a lot.
Yeah, I'm happy to work with you to kind of like when you're promoting an event or a campaign, like basically the email sequence, the social media.
Yeah.
And once we create that template for you, we use it every time. Just say, oh, here's our new program. Use the previous campaign template workflow, and it remembers it.
Yeah,
so
I need to do that. I have no marketing experience whatsoever, but I'm the marketing here.
Great. All right. Anyone else could jump in before we finish up here? If not, then I really appreciate everyone's attention. I know we went over. Carlene, happy to. I'll follow up with you just to give you some links to share with everyone. But if you guys want to do some more series, like as you can see, we just skim the surface. Happy to do like a few different series to dive deeper on and just
Great.
kind of be more hands-on.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you very much.
Okay.
Very enlightening to say the least. And to the remaining attendees that are here, you're going to receive a questionnaire in the next day or two. Would appreciate your input, response, and please let us know of other subjects that you'd like the program committee to develop workshops for. So, again, thank you all, and Cam, again, very much appreciated. Nice job.
You're welcome. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay.